Now here's something from Audio Damage that doesn't do any damage to your sound.
No matter where you go.
Hello and welcome to attaQ. My name is Jakob, I'm your host and you're watching a attaQ episode. This is EOS 2 by Audio Damage. Now I'm just gonna go out and say this. So far to my ears, I'm not gonna call it EOS 2 sounds so good that it has become my most favorite reverb on the App Store. So let's have a listen again to what you heard in the beginning.
No matter where you go. No matter where you go.
Now I've used a lot of reverbs in my time, both hardware and software, and I've always kept different types of reverb units for different kinds of things. Some of them for plate reverbs, spring reverbs, even built a spring tank reverb. No, seriously, look at this. Now I wouldn't use EOS for spring type reverbs. I would use EOS for everything else. Big sounds like stadium sounds, small room sounds, and anything in between. It sounds so awesomely good. Plus it also has elements within it that makes you want to explore it, and you kind of have to with some of these functions in here. It truly is one of the best. So what I played for you is basically just 2 instances of Tines, the electric piano from Clevger, and then 4 channels with vocals that I recorded. And so each of these voices have one instance of EOS 2 on it. What we're going to do now is we're going to listen to this same piece of music, but I'm going to turn off all of the reverbs. And with the power of video editing, I have now turned off all of the reverbs, and this is what it sounds like without EOS magic over it.
No matter where you go. No matter where you go.
Well, so you've gotten a taste of the sound of it, so let me take you through the functions. Now, since it is an audio unit extension, I always start by checking if there is a preset list, and yes, there is. It even ships with a bunch of presets, so you don't have to start from scratch. Next, let's start in the middle here. Here we can see 4 settings. You have a plate 1 setting, a plate 2 setting, a plate 3 setting, and a super hall. And these are the different types of reverb algorithms that you can use inside EOS 2. Next, I want you to focus right down there. Here we have an infinite setting, and when you have this selected, it will set the reverb tail to infinite. So
no matter where you go.
So this is a function I'm thinking a lot of noise people out there will just love. Right to the sides here we have a mix knob. So the mix knob blends between the reverb signal and the clean signal. Next we're gonna jump to this side over here. You have a pre-delay diffusion knob. We also have 2 other common knobs that you can find inside reverbs, like the size and the decay knob. Now the interesting parts are these knobs here. Now the attaQ knob does different things depending on what reverb algorithm you're using. And I couldn't figure out at first what these did, so I had to check out the manual, which I'm gonna provide a link to down in the description together with an app link for EOS 2. When, for instance, if I use the super hall algorithm, then the attaQ knob controls the slope of the initial reverb reverb decay. So at high attaQ settings, the tail exponentially decays at a rate determined by the decay control. At mid setting of attaQ, the initial reverb decay is fairly flat, which can produce a gated effect with larger settings of size and shorter settings of decay. Now I'm reading word by word what's in the manual. This is something I suggest that you experiment around with. And this is what I was referring to when I was talking about that EOS 2 has elements within it that makes you want to explore it. Oh, I'm really starting to love Audio Damage and the way they think about their apps. Now we also have two other knobs here, and it's the mod shortened down for modulation and also mod rate. Let me just say this. One thing that really hit me about this reverb was the fact that it didn't sound metallic like many other iOS reverbs do sound like. A lot of developers put in reverbs in their apps, in their synthesizers and everything like that, and they always sound very metallic to me. And that's what I like about the modulation setting here, because this allows the reverb not to sound very metallic when you use it. So this is probably the main reason to why I really love the sound of EOS 2. And it's also why I'm keeping the modulation depth up to 100 for my reverb tail. I simply think it sounds the best. I did turn down the modulation rate though, because if you turn it up too high, you can get a somewhat chorus effect. The last thing to talk about is the filter. And this is an awesome amount of settings to have when you want to sculpt the sound of your reverb tail. So it consists of a high pass and low pass filter, but you can adjust the crossover points for both of them. Now there are two interesting knobs here, low multi and high multi, and these are frequency multipliers. Again, I had a problem with my phrasing, so I just looked at the manual and I quote, "The low multi and high multi knobs controls filters that change the frequency response of the reverberators and hence the tonal quality of the reverb tail." You're gonna have to experiment with your settings. You can really shape and sculpt your sounds. So even though I don't know everything there is to know yet about what I can do with EOS 2, I do recommend it. So go grab it with the app link down below.
No matter where you go.
Right, so there you go, EOS 2 by Audio Damage. Thank you so much for watching. All comments and ratings are, of course, very much appreciated. Now, I've also got a Patreon page, so if you like what I do, if you want to support creativity, and if you find value in the content I produce, then why not sign up over there? All Patreons that sign up get access to I call it like the haQ vault. It's basically a Dropbox folder where I've collected all of the giveaways I've done over the years, including samples, presets, music, even wallpaper and stuff like that. So you get an instant access to that. It's supposed to be like a reward, but I haven't really figured out the Patreon system quite yet. I am working on it and I will add more reward tiers. I'm also still looking for someone who can produce these cloths that I always use to wipe off my screen. I'm still trying to find one company that makes them, like a high quality one, so I can offer these as a Patreon reward to people at a level which I don't know yet, because I'm not sure what I'm gonna have to pay for them. And of course they're gonna have the haQ logo on them, so stay tuned for that. Now in the haQ vault I will also start uploading the narration bits, like my vocals, me talking right now. I will upload them there so that you can sample them and cut them up and do whatever you want with them. Those are some benefits that Patreons have. Now, if you don't want to do Patreon, I've also got a PayPal me link, so you can do a one-off donation if you'd rather do that. Now, if you don't want to do Patreon or PayPal, then you can always share my videos, press the thumbs up, and if you subscribe, don't forget to pressing that little bell thing, because that way you'll get notified whenever I upload new videos. Wow, that took a lot of effort to say. As usual, I wish you a very productive week. Now go finger all of your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.